G'day guys, Tor here from Pro Stock Tips, and today I'd like to talk about Intel stock. Now, Intel is a semiconductor designer and manufacturer, and they're planning to spin off their Mobileye division. Mobileye is focusing on autonomous driving, so think Tesla's self-driving. Now, this is a new and emerging technology, and the market for this is potentially enormous. And Mobileye is a significant player in this space with some of the leading technology. Now, the opportunity here for Mobileye is very significant, as the robo-taxi network could be very significant and vast if you look at the size of the global taxi network. Obviously, robo-taxis are potentially the future, right? As obviously, it takes the human out of the taxi. So obviously that cuts back on substantial costs for the service of the taxi service, right? As obviously you don't have the driver to pay. So essentially, Mobileye could attract a $50 billion valuation, if not higher. 50 billion is simply the valuation that Intel has been looking at. Now, if they do spin off Mobileye at such a significant valuation, and this appears on their balance sheet for their shareholding in Mobileye, you can see some you may potentially see some appreciation in the value of Intel shares once the valuation of Mobileye is realized by the market. Now, obviously Intel shares are trading at a pretty attractive price to earnings ratio, if you take my opinion. Now, they're trading at about a PE ratio of somewhere around 10. And if we look at peers in the group, the semiconductor group like TSM and AMD, take AMD for example, which is around 30 to 40 price to earnings ratio. So 3 to 4 times higher than Intel, although Intel is still very profitable and pays a dividend. Now, Intel has been beaten up a lot lately due to the fact that they have potentially lost some market share in the high-end semiconductor sector. So think about your low nanometer chips, your 7 nanometer and less. So Intel previously announced that they were having some difficulty with their 7 nanometer chips. However, they have announced that they are working on resolving this, and it is expected that they can resolve any difficulties they're facing with their high-end chips. So they also have a large number of patents and development plans for new chip designs in the high-end space, and I fully expect that they have the potential to resolve any difficulties that they have. And once they do, enter back into becoming a leading player in the high-end chip space, I can certainly see a lot of growth on the cards for Intel stock, which could warrant a much higher valuation than, say, a price to earnings ratio of 10. So Intel could potentially return into being a growth stock. You could see re-rating due to the realization of the value of Mobileye. So there's a lot of upside potential there with Intel, and it's a good safe bet at these levels, I would say. So what are the price targets? Well, many analysts are talking about $72, for example, as a price target. I certainly believe it can hit these levels very easily, especially once Mobileye